just streaming. Actually, the announcement from congressional Democrats that they have drafted 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump. Those 2 articles are abuse of power and obstruction of justice. The Judiciary Committee is going to vote on those articles on Thursday. A full House vote is expected next week, and we have a whole big write-up on it on khou.com, which you can read. Of course, CBS News has covered this extensively as well. We asked this question this morning on H-Town Rush, and I'm really curious what your response would be. We asked, what do you think the outcome of the impeachment inquiry will be? So there are 3 options I want you to consider. No, impeachment. Nothing happens, like the House does not vote to move forward next week. Impeachment, but no Senate conviction. And 3, Senate conviction. I will point out that if that happens, it's the only time it's happened in the 3 times that an American president has made it to the stage of an impeachment trial. So let me know what you think there. Again, I'll push you to khou.com for a full comprehensive read. If this is something you're interested in, though, you've probably already been there. The other thing that people really care about at this moment is the weather, because we have that cold front that pushed through overnight, and it had a huge difference in our forecast. So we want to check in with Erica Lopez in just a second, make sure she's all set, and she is. Erica, what a change in a day.
I know, right? And even in just a few hours. So when we were all getting into work early this morning, which ranges anywhere from 1 a.m. and about 3 a.m., temperatures were still in the 70s and in the 60s. And now a lot of us who have worked the H-Town Rush have not even been outside all morning long because we've been inside busy working. We're going to be in for a shock to the system. Temperatures are in the low 50s right now. On top of that, it's still windy also, so it feels like temperatures are in the upper 40s. Check out sustained winds that we're picking up right now at Bush. 18 miles an hour, sustained winds, so gusts even stronger than that. So it's going to be a wet, cold, windy day outside. Here's a look at our temperature drop. If you compare temperatures that we see right now compared to yesterday, we are 25 degrees colder in Brenham, 24 degrees colder in areas such as Huntsville, and a 19-degree temperature drop in Houston. So yeah, it's getting chilly out there. Everyone is windy at the moment. Looks like our most strongest winds are definitely for the coastal areas. Galveston, 32-mile-an-hour winds at the moment, sustained. So this is why we're under a wind advisory. Cold front is now off into the Gulf of Mexico, so we have cold air that's filtering in, but we have lots of showers right behind this front. Good news is that most of it is on the lighter side, but that's still going to keep us very damp and dreary all day long. With looks like the pockets of moderate rain are possible, but again, widespread light rain is ongoing around Houston. It is a messy Tuesday morning commute. So temperatures in the 50s right now, but I do expect us to cool down to the 40s within the next couple of hours. So expect 40s for your lunch hour. Still wet, still widespread light rain, and then rain chances start to taper off by this evening. As far as temperatures go, well, we're going to be in the 40s throughout the majority of the day, but with rain clearing out by late tonight, that will allow us to get to the 30s. So I drew in the jet stream, or at least put in our jet stream on this feature track to show you what's going to help eliminate rain chances. A trough of low pressure, which is helping activate rain chances. As that shifts east, that's going to shift all this rain east also. So eventually it will clear out of our viewing area. Clouds clearing out overnight also. So again, that will allow our temperatures to drop to the 30s. The less moisture in the atmosphere, the drier air mass filtering in. We don't have clouds that will act as a blanket. That will allow us to get pretty cold, and it's our coldest morning we'll have the next 7 days before we gradually warm back up. But check out the rest of the week. It's going to feel like December for sure in Houston. Highs in the 50s and in the 60s. By this weekend, more fall-like temperatures will be in the 70s, but still a good amount of sunshine here and there, and rain chances don't really start to pick back up until Monday. So just, bear with the rain today. Stay indoors as much as you can. The rest of the week and the weekend we'll get to coast with some beautiful fall weather here in Houston. Brandy?
Erica, thank you. Hopefully we can adapt and I don't have to sit here in my coat for the rest of
I
the
barely
day.
noticed that. You look so cozy.
It is, but my legs are still freezing because I'm wearing a skirt. I'll listen better next time. I'll listen better, Erica. Thank you so much. One of the other stories that is really topping our feeds is Chief Acevedo's comments yesterday about gun violence, about accessibility of guns, about lawmakers' inability to pass gun reform. And he specifically targeted 3 senators, Mitch McConnell, John Cornyn, and Ted Cruz. Here's a little snippet of what he had to say.
You brag about every piece of legislation you care about. Start caring about cops, children, and women, and everyday gun violence. Do something about it or retire.
I've never quite heard him or seen him that fired up, but this comes after the shooting of Houston Sergeant Chris Brewster by a guy whose own ex-girlfriend said was dangerous. So you can watch Chief Acevedo's full comments on KHOU.com in the link that we've shared up above. And if you're interested in paying your respects to Sergeant Brewster, here's some information for that. So his visitation is going to be tomorrow night from 5 to 8 at Sagemont Church. His funeral service is going to be Thursday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. at Grace Church, Houston. And there's expected to be just a massive turnout as people pay their respects to someone who was really loved within the community. If you've read any of the articles or seen any of the stories that we've done, people who know him, his wife, folks at his gym, folks he went to high school with, just all have nothing but wonderful, wonderful things to say about him, and you can read up on KHOU.com. You guys are also clicking on this story out of San Jacinto County involving a sex trafficking suspect. So investigators there say this guy, his name is Tevin McClellan, kidnapped 2 girls at gunpoint. They were led to him by an 18-year-old who needed help. So when they tracked her down, they found this guy. They also found a 16-year-old. They say that he had kidnapped them both from the Houston area and threatened them that he was going to take them to Louisiana and sell them into sex trafficking. So we have done so many stories about how to keep your teen safe. Those are all on KHOU.com as well. Sex trafficking is a real concern in the Houston area because of our freeways, because of our proximity and our accessibility to just about any place in the country. So definitely something to educate yourself about if you can. Next up, and I apologize, we don't have any like sunshiny happy stories today. You guys are clicking on stories that rightly so get you fired up one way or the other. And the next one is the announcement from the NFL that Michael Vick, the former Atlanta Falcons QB, is going to be the team captain for the Pro Bowl, just ahead of the Super Bowl next year. Of course, he was accused of dogfighting, something he admitted. He's since apologized and made efforts to pass legislation against it. But a lot of people still remember the visuals from that era, and they do not think of all of the players out there that Michael Vick should be the captain for the Pro Bowl team. So now there are 2 petitions. One has nearly 500,000 signatures. The other one has about 350,000 signatures. Let me know where you fall on this one. The argument on one side is that, he did his time, he paid the price, he lost his opportunity in the NFL. Give him the shot. He deserves to have that spot in the Pro Bowl and be captain. And the other side is saying there's so many other athletes out there who are wildly talented and should be recognized, and not this guy who has that history with dogfighting. So you can weigh in there. We also have a link up above if you're interested in signing one of those petitions. Those are in the article. And finally, this is kind of a weird story out of Galveston County, but the GOP chair there is being asked to resign by her own group because of what's being called a racist text she sent. It was in a group chat, and she texted and called JT Edwards, who's a member of the state Republican Executive Committee, a typical N-word. She says it was a typo. Edwards, thinks she needs to resign. She says she doesn't intend to. So you can read up on the back and forth there. I wish I had better, happier stories to share with you. I will pose the same question I asked folks earlier, and that's Since it's probably not going to feel very Christmassy. It's not going to feel like this outside on Christmas because it's usually like in the 50s and sunny. Well, I say usually, but we can go through all 4 seasons in a day here in Texas. But if you could celebrate Christmas anywhere in the world, where would you do it? Would you do it here? Would you go to like Europe and go to a Christmas market like one of our producers, Beth Ann, said? Would you go to New York City, see the Rockefeller tree all lit up? Would you go to the mountains and enjoy the snow? North Pole? I don't know. Let me know. I know Brandon mentioned we have a lot of folks commenting today.
Yeah, I'm going to sum these up. I told Brandy earlier in a cleaner way. Some of you are very fired up on the impeachment topic. I will say we do have a lot of people not necessarily answering the question that we posed on what we think is going to happen, but many people are calling this a waste of time. I think as this has gone on, and this has been on TV, for the past few weeks, I think people are kind of just fed up at this point. It's just a lot of back and forth is what people are talking about today in the comments.
I think you're fed up on one side because it's not moving fast enough, or you're fed up on the other side that it's happening at all.
Exactly. That's the hot topic today in the comments. We have a lot of viewers very fired up about it.
And it will be for a while to come, because again, that Judiciary Committee vote is on Thursday, and then the full House will vote next week.
We do have one comment from John talking about where he would like to go for Christmas. Switching gears here, John would love to go to Copenhagen.
Ooh, to Denmark.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Rosie's saying Seoul, South Korea.
I wouldn't have even thought about that as
Me
a
neither.
destination.
Any excuse, I guess, to go to South Korea?
One of our producers, Margel, said Christmas in Fiji sounds lovely. I think that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, my sister lives in Florida, and she's been pushing for Christmas in Hawaii for about 10 years now. So I don't think that's ever going to happen, but
Why not?
I mean, she's got 2 kids, a husband, my parents, and then my girlfriend and I.
So magic can happen.
Yeah.
When I was in 9th grade, my grandparents owned a winery. Well, my grandpa still does. My grandma has since passed, but they'd have the harvest in October of every year, and in the whole month of November, my entire childhood, they would just take off and go to Hawaii. They owned a unit there, so they just go. Well, my 9th grade year, we're at the winery. My grandma, so this is like back in 1996, so she couldn't email, but she had sent by mail our whole itinerary.
Aww.
And my grandparents brought 14 of us over. Can't exactly remember how it went, but it was my great grandma and grandpa, my grandma and grandpa, my great grandma on my other side, my mom's family, which was me, my dad, and 3 kids, my aunt's family, which was her husband and 2 kids, and then my uncle, his wife, and I think they had 1 kid. It was crazy. I can't even imagine how much that cost. But maybe
must have been a good harvest.
Magic will happen, and you'll get to go, because that was the first time I ever got to go.
All right. Well, I'm holding
And
you
we
to
went
that
right
magic.
after Christmas.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Shout out to my sister there. Just
All right, let's make it happen.
we'll go
send
look for
all
a
the good
winery.
juju. There's another update coming up at 2:15 this afternoon. You can tune in for that. I'm also anchoring KHU 11 News at noon, if you want to join us then. And otherwise, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know. It's day to day here with all this impeachment inquiry stuff, because they keep knocking us off. But maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.